90% of people who try to save money quit before they hit $3,000. Not because they can't afford to save, not because unexpected expenses wrecked their budget. They quit at the exact same point. Month 3, week 10 or 11. Same timeline, same collapse, every single time. And here's what nobody's telling you. This isn't a coincidence. Month 3 is when 3 biological forces converge to destroy your willpower. Your dopamine crashes, your decision-making fuel runs out, and your social isolation becomes unbearable. If your system needs motivation to work past week 10, it's not a system. It's a timer counting down to your inevitable failure. My name is Rob, and I spend way too much time thinking about money and how it actually works. If you feel like you're doing everything right but still not getting ahead, subscribe and hit the like button. It genuinely helps. Let me guess your history with saving money. You've started at least 3 times, maybe 4. Each time felt different. You were motivated, you had a plan, you were serious this time. Month 1 was great. You felt powerful every time you saw that savings balance grow. Month 2 was harder, but you pushed through. Then month 3 hit, and everything just fell apart. You know exactly what I'm talking about. An unexpected expense, you got busy, life happened, you told yourself you'd restart next month. Here's what's wild. This isn't random. Month 3 is a specific failure point that almost everyone hits, but nobody talks about. Research shows that 90% of people abandon savings goals within 6 months, and the critical collapse happens right around week 10 to 12. This is a pattern, and patterns have causes. I failed at saving money 4 times before I figured out what was actually happening. 4 complete cycles of excitement, effort, collapse, and shame. The 3rd time I quit, I had $2,100 saved. I was so proud. Then my car needed $800 in repairs, and I thought, well, I'll just pause saving for a month. Never restarted. 6 months later, that $2,100 was gone, and I couldn't even tell you where it went, just evaporated. And every single time, I blamed myself. I thought I just needed more discipline. I thought other people succeeded because they wanted it more than I did. I was wrong. The problem wasn't me, and it's not you either. Because month 3 isn't when you fail, it's when your system gets its first real test. And if you're relying on motivation to save money, you were already doomed before you started. Your brain is actively working against you, and you never stood a chance. You know that feeling in week 10 when saving money suddenly feels like punishment? That's not you being weak, that's your brain chemistry literally changing on you. Let me show you what's happening. When you start a new savings goal, your brain floods with dopamine. But here's the critical part most people miss. You're not getting dopamine from saving money, you're getting dopamine from starting something new. It's the exact same chemical rush you get from downloading a new productivity app, starting a new diet, or buying a fresh notebook for a project you'll abandon in 2 weeks. Your brain loves novelty. It's hardwired to reward you for trying new things that might improve your survival. So month 1 feels amazing. You're optimistic, you're motivated, you're unstoppable. You check your savings account and feel that little hit of pride. You decline a night out and feel virtuous. Every small win reinforces the behavior. But listen to this, novelty-based dopamine lasts 21 to 60 days maximum. That's it. By week 8, the new goal dopamine is completely gone. And now saving isn't exciting anymore, it's just hard. Month 3, your brain doesn't give a shit anymore. Month 3 is when your brain chemistry literally changes. What felt rewarding in month 1 now registers as pure loss. When you save $100, it feels like you lost $100, not gained it. Lost it, and that feeling of loss is twice as strong as the feeling of winning. This is why saving feels like shit. So you're not quitting because you're weak, you're quitting because your brain stopped producing the chemical that made saving feel good and started screaming at you that you're losing money every time you don't spend. You've been blaming yourself for a neurological inevitability. And that's just problem 1. While your dopamine is crashing, something else is quietly accumulating in the background, and by month 3, it reaches a breaking point that almost nobody sees coming. Every single day, you're making micro decisions about money. Should I buy this coffee? Should I order takeout or cook? Can I afford this? Is this worth it? Each one feels tiny, but they add up. You wake up and immediately start deciding, coffee or tea, gym or sleep, answer that email or ignore it. By lunch, you've made 30 decisions. By dinner, 60. Now add, should I save money today to that pile? Your brain taps out.
Picture this. It's Saturday night. You're tired from work. Your friends text, dinner at 8. Spending equals 1 tap. Yeah, I'm in. Saving equals opening your banking app, calculating if you can afford it, feeling guilty either way, second-guessing yourself. Which one are you choosing when you're exhausted? Or this, you're a Target for paper towels. You pass the clearance rack. Do I need this $8 throw pillow? I mean, it's only $8, but I said I would save this week, but it's so cheap. Okay, wait, no, I should. That 45-second internal war, that's decision fatigue, and you do that 50 times a day. By week 10, you've made approximately 700 micro-decisions about money. Your brain is exhausted, and when faced with, should I save this $100 or spend it, the tired brain always chooses the path of least resistance. You default to easy, and spending is always easier than saving. Always. So here's the trap. If your system needs you to manually transfer money, you're asking your already depleted brain to make yet another decision. And eventually, usually around month 3, your brain just says no. Not because you're lazy, not because you don't care, because you're out of gas. You think you quit because you lost motivation? You didn't. You quit because you're tired. You're not undisciplined. You're exhausted from fighting yourself every single day. And while you're dealing with all that, there's a third thing happening. And honestly, this one's the worst. Saving money isn't just about money, it's about what your friends think of you. And by month 3, the social cost becomes unbearable. Month 1, your friends invite you to dinner. You say, I can't, I'm trying to save money. They laugh, say, good for you, maybe give you some encouragement. You feel proud, you feel like you're making the right choice. Month 2, they invite you to a concert. You say no again. They're supportive, but there's a slight edge to it. You're really serious about this, huh? Month 3, you've said no 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. Now when they invite you out, there's a pause. You're still doing that saving thing? The invitations start coming less frequently. You become the broke friend. Not actually broke, you're saving, but they don't see your bank account. They see someone who can't hang, and that label sticks. You feel it every time someone hesitates before inviting you. You're not just missing experiences, you're losing social currency. And look, evolutionarily, your brain is wired to prioritize tribe approval over individual future planning. Your ancestors who chose social belonging over hoarding resources survived. The ones who isolated themselves to save resources died alone. This is 300,000 years of evolution screaming at you that exile equals death. By month 3, the social pain of saying no exceeds the psychological benefit of saving for a goal you can't even see yet. So you say yes. You go out, you spend the $80, and the system collapses. Then comes the guilt. Not just for spending, but for choosing your friends over your future. But that's a false choice you were never evolutionarily equipped to make. So now you've got 3 things hitting you at once. Month 3 is when your dopamine crashes, your decision fatigue peaks, and your social isolation becomes unbearable. 3 problems, same time. And that's a perfect storm nobody survives. And after all that, the chemical crash, the exhaustion, the loneliness, you know what advice you get? Just try harder. Every time you quit, someone told you to just try harder. More discipline, more willpower, cut the lattes. And you believed them. You thought you were the problem. That advice is bullshit. Worse than bullshit, it's harmful. Because willpower is a finite resource. It's not a muscle you can strengthen infinitely. It's more like your phone battery. It drains throughout the day and needs to recharge. Asking you to hold your breath for 10 minutes through sheer determination, it's not going to work. It can't work. You know who loves this narrative? Banks, investment apps, every financial company that wants to sell you something. If the problem is your lack of willpower, then they're off the hook for designing systems that actually work with human psychology instead of against it. You keep blaming yourself, they keep their bad design, and nothing changes. It's perfect for them. You fail, you blame yourself, you feel shame, you wait a few months, you try again with renewed hope but the exact same system, you fail again, the shame intensifies. This loop keeps you stuck, and it keeps you believing you're the problem. But what if you're not? What if the problem was never your discipline? What if you've been using a system that's literally designed to fail at exactly month 3? What if you're not broken, the system is? Because here's the thing. If the system is the problem, you can fix the system. You don't need more discipline, you need better design. So what does a system look like that actually works at month 3? What does it look like to build something that doesn't need you to be motivated every single day?
Simple. A good system works on your worst day, not just your best day. If it needs motivation to function, it's not a system, it's a wish. You need a system that works when your dopamine is gone, when you're exhausted from making decisions, when your friends are pressuring you to come out. A system that needs zero decisions after the initial setup. The solution? Don't try harder. Remove the need to try at all. The money needs to disappear before you see it, not after you've thought about it, not after you've decided to be good, before you can make a bad decision about it. This is how payroll taxes work. The government figured this out decades ago. The money comes out of your paycheck before it hits your account. You never see it, so you never miss it. You build your life around what's left. Same principle, different destination. On payday, your paycheck hits your checking account. Same day. Not next week, not when you remember. Same day. Automatic split into 2 accounts. Account 1 is your real life. Rent, food, the occasional night out. This is the money you see and spend. Account 2, you forget it exists. It's gone, like taxes. Like that $12 Netflix charge you haven't thought about in 6 months. Real numbers. Let's say you make $67K. After taxes, you're taking home about $4,200 a month. You spend $3,600. That means $600 disappears to savings before you can touch it. You never see it, you never miss it. And this is the best part. At the end of each month, whatever's left over in your spending account also auto-transfers to savings. Some months that's $50, some months it's $300. Doesn't matter, it's automatic. Year 1, $6,696. That's a used car. Year 5, $37,680. That's a house down payment. Year 10, $85,860. That's fuck you money if you hate your job. And if you invested it at 10% average returns instead of just parking it in savings, you'd have $114,000 in 10 years. Month 3 hits, dopamine gone. You're tired. Friends are asking you out, and the money still saves because it doesn't need you to be motivated. It just needs you to not cancel the automation. You're not fighting yourself anymore. You're not making 70 daily decisions about money. You're not saying no to friends because you don't have money. The money's already gone. You made one decision, one time, done. Now I know what you're thinking. I tried automatic transfers and I just canceled them when money got tight. Yeah, of course you did, because you set up automation without addressing the other 2 problems. You still had decision fatigue, you still had social pressure. Automation alone isn't enough. You need all 3. Automation plus decision elimination plus a why strong enough to survive month 3. This is the system that survives month 3, not because it's sexy or exciting, but because it doesn't care about your motivation level. But even with the perfect system, there's one thing that determines whether you'll actually set it up or just file this away as interesting information you'll get to eventually. Because knowing what to do means absolutely nothing if you never actually do it. So answer this honestly. Why do you actually want this money? Not the rehearsed answer you'd give at a dinner party, not I should have an emergency fund, or financial advisors say to save. That's borrowed obligation that evaporates the second something shiny goes on sale. I'm talking about the real answer, the one that makes your chest tight when you think about it. Because look, companies spend billions of dollars figuring out how to make you spend money. Amazon knows you better than your best friend does. They've mapped your desires, your impulses, your weaknesses. Every ad you see, every product placement, every limited time offer is engineered to hijack your emotional decision-making. They've turned your brain into a profit machine, and they're very, very good at it. You need an emotional reason to save that's stronger than their entire marketing budget. Your why might be remembering your mom crying over bills at the kitchen table when you were 12, or your dad's face when he said, "I can't afford to retire at 66, or that sick feeling in your stomach when your card got declined in front of people. Make that image so clear you can feel it. Maybe it's the freedom to walk away from a job that's crushing your soul. Maybe it's being able to help someone you love when they need it most. Maybe it's never wanting to feel that 2 a.m. panic of, what if my car breaks down tomorrow when I don't have the money? Whatever your reason is, it needs to be visceral, not intellectual, not rational, visceral. Do this. Put a picture of your why somewhere you'll see it every day. If it's retiring before you're too old to enjoy it, find an image that captures that freedom. If it's your kids not growing up with the financial stress you had, use their photo. If it's helping your parents retire comfortably, put their picture up. Your brain needs concrete images, not abstract concepts floating in the distant future, because when you're standing in a store deciding whether to buy something you don't need, statistics about compound interest won't stop you, but the image of what you're actually saving for, your mom retiring comfortably, your kids not growing up broke, your freedom to quit the job you hate, that might.
You know what to do now. The gap between you and $10,000 saved, it's not knowledge, it's action. Okay, brutal honesty time. You could finish this video, nod along, think, wow, that makes sense, and be in the exact same financial position a year from now. Because information without action is just entertainment. Let me tell you exactly what happens next for most people. You finish this video, you feel motivated, you think, I'll set this up this weekend. Weekend comes, you get busy. Laundry, errands, a friend wants to hang out. Monday hits, you go back to work, you forget. Life happens. A month passes, you're exactly where you were before, except now you've wasted another month. The math on this is brutal. Start today, you'll have $114,000 in 10 years. Wait 1 year, you lose $18,000. That's not oops, small mistake. That's a year of rent you just burned by procrastinating. Setting up this system takes 1 hour, maybe 2 if you're really slow. 1 hour to build infrastructure that runs for the next 30 years. But you'll convince yourself you don't have time. You'll scroll social media for 3 hours tonight, but you don't have time for this. Make it make sense. Here's what's at stake. The difference between quitting at month 3 and continuing to month 60 is $52,400. That's not a random number. That's what you miss by following the pattern you've always followed. Month 3, you'll have saved $2,400. That's where 90% of people quit. Month 60, you'll have saved $54,800. That's the cost of not having a system that survives when your motivation dies. 1 year from now, you're in the exact same target, same clearance rack. Version 1, you check your account before buying the $8 pillow because you have $400 left until payday. Version 2, you have $10,000 in savings and you buy the fucking pillow without thinking about it because you have actual security. Which person are you becoming? So be honest with yourself right now. You can close this video and nothing changes. You'll be in the same place next year, the year after, 5 years from now. Same promises, same month 3 failures, same shame cycle. Or you can spend 1 hour today, not later, not this weekend, today, setting up automatic transfers. 1 hour between your current financial situation and having real savings for the first time in your life. The system works, the math works. The only question is whether you'll actually do it. Time is passing either way. 5 years from now, you'll either be glad you started or wondering why you didn't.